Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a budget soap. So this is stuff you can find wherever. Right now I'm showing you a mold I made out of a Fancy Feast box that I got for my cats. All I did was line it and measure. So here's the measurements that I had to do for this. So in order to get the volume of a rectangle, you have to do the length times the width times the height. And for this one, it's 8.25 by 4 by 2.5. So I'm taking that, multiplying them all together, and then I'm going to end up with 82.5. In order to get the amount of ounces I need to put in there, I take that and multiply by 0.4. So that it's like 40% of that value. So I rounded it to 33. So here's some lard that I just got at the grocery store. It was $2 and something cents. I've been getting this forever, and it's pretty solid. Here's coconut oil. So you don't necessarily have to have it, but that's the cheapest one that you can get at the store. And then I have here some canola oil. Make sure that it says pure canola oil. So the recipe I have is the canola with the lard and the coconut. I'm using 30% canola. I have to multiply that by the 33 ounces that we calculated earlier. The lard is 40, that's 13.2 ounces, and then the coconut is also 30%. So those are the values that I'm going to get. In order to calculate the lye, I have the saponification numbers of each of these oils, and the canola is 0.133. So you have to take that and multiply by your ounce, and that's going to give you 1.32. Same with the lard, and while the lard's is 0.183, and the coconut is 0.141. So ultimately you add all those together, get 5.14, and then do a super fat. I have a 5% calculation here, so I multiplied my amount by 0.95 because that's 95% of my total to get 4.88. I did this in Soap Calc, and in Soap Calc it was a little bit less than that, so I'm not really sure why, but that's just what it ended up being. And then I've already measured this out. Actually, I'm just showing you that I still had some left over from this, but I used most of that box. This is the coconut oil I get. I get it from Sam's. It's $8 for that big jar. You saw at the store, it was like $5 something for just that little jar. But anyway, so I melt these down and then I measure out my canola oil. And I realize I'm probably going really fast here, so I'm going to put all these numbers in the description. And if you sign up for my newsletter, I do have a recipe in there. It will be under the paid version of the newsletter, but if you stick around with me for 6 months, I will automatically give you a free version of the paid newsletter. So I'm using this color. Now since this is a budget soap, you don't have to use color. I am using it just for fun. I will tell you, spoiler alert, ultimately my soap ends up being brown because of the fragrance that I use, so it doesn't really matter in the end. But I do love this color. It's more of a cool orange color. It's got some pink hues in it, and it's a really nice orange. But again, it's optional. So here's my melted oils. This is my box of lard with that coconut oil that I melted, and it is sitting there at 123 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I just pour in my liquid oil, my canola oil, and it should bring the temperature down a little bit, but in this case, not a whole lot, just about 10 degrees. Here's the fragrance that I have. You can't get this anymore. I mean, you can special order it, but I've had this for a very long time and it still smells really nice. But I'm just using the rest of it just to get rid of it. But anyway, that fragrance also didn't lower the temperature very much. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my color. Usually I add in my color after I mix all my lye and all that stuff, but I'm not doing that here. And I also mixed my lye off camera. If you're interested in how I make my lye, I will link that video in the card here for you as well. But it's really simple. I put some bougie stuff in there, but yeah, based on the calculations that I had earlier, that's how I made up the lye. But anyway, so I'm just gonna mix this color around for no good reason, because again, it's just gonna turn brown in the end. But since I'm only using this one color, I don't really care about the temperature here, because I don't care about how fast it's gonna trace or anything like that. I'm just gonna mix it and pour it into the mold and be done with it. I did end up adding a little white to this mixture of orange, but again, it didn't make a difference in the end because the soap is brown. So here is my lye solution. You'll notice that it's a little bit yellow. I have a little tiny bit of sugar in there just because sugar is good at boosting bubbles. I don't think you necessarily need to have it in this recipe because there is coconut oil. I just wanted to be extra and put it in there. I was kind of surprised. I've never done this recipe before. See, the temperature is at 118. I've never done this blend of oils before. I mean, I've done budget soaps before with lard and coconut oil and whatnot, but I was surprised at how slow trace was with this. And I don't think it has anything to do with the fragrance oil, because I did the same recipe with another batch and the same thing happened. It just kind of sat there very liquidy. Well, I didn't want to, it was already emulsed, so I wasn't going to sit there and just blend it some more. So I was going to go ahead and pour it in my mold and let it do its thing overnight anyway. So I'm not doing anything fancy with this. Again, this is just a budget soap, so you don't need a bunch of colors. You don't even need to fragrance it if you don't want to. But if you do want to put fragrance in it, they do sell them at Michael's, or you can get them online at my links. If you go through Wholesale Supplies Plus, you get free, well, quote unquote, free shipping if you spend at least, I think, 25 or 30 bucks. They charge you a service fee of $6. So really you are paying shipping, but anyway, it's cheap shipping. Let me put it that way. So if you do want fragrances, you can go to Wholesale Supplies Plus. But anyway, so my box here, again, this is my fancy feast box. It had cans of cat food in it. It was a good size for a mold, so I lined it with freezer paper and just poured it in there. I also took care to take packing tape and seal like the corners of the box, so that, because this paper isn't impermeable, so it's going to soak through somewhat and probably get through. So I wanted to make sure that it was sealed. And soap is generally kind of oily. So yeah, I usually like silicone molds for that reason, but here's that. So the next day, you can already see that it's kind of brown and it's got some sodium salt on the top. There's my oily corners there, but this box is still good for another run, and I'll probably hold on to it and do it again. But yeah, when I say sodium salt, I mean it's not like lye sitting on top. It's just an oxidized version of the lye that is sitting on the surface. I trimmed that stuff off because it's unsightly, and yeah, so anyway. But you can see there's wrinkles from the paper on there, and I trim all that stuff off as well. So if you like the video so far, feel free to give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. If you don't like it, go ahead and give me a thumbs down. That's okay too. And if you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And I do have a pinned comment for my newsletter, so if you want to go ahead and sign up for that, you can as well. I'm over on Substack. So here I am, I'm trimming off the edges, and you can see that it's got like an envelope look to it based on like how the paper was sitting in there. There are good methods to put your paper in there to make it not do that, but honestly, I'm not that great with lining them, which is why I usually do silicone molds. But since this is a budget soap video, I just want to show you that you don't have to have a silicone mold. But also, if you go to Wholesale Supplies Plus and you want to use up that minimum purchase amount, you can get one of my silicone soap molds on there. And I believe they're like 20 bucks. I will tell you, they used to be $10. And, with inflation and everything, they're pretty high. But yeah, so you can see that these soaps did turn out brown, but as they sat, they got even browner. So they look more like chocolate milk than they do orange, which is fine. I had plenty of that orange color. I'm not really that worried about it. You can also get these colors at Wholesale Supplies Plus. But do remember that this is a budget soap. You can get away with spending just a little bit of money on this. If you want to get lye, I did forget to mention this. So I get lye from a wholesaler, but you can get it from a hardware store. You have to look for pure lye crystals in their drain cleaner department. I don't want to be held responsible for you grabbing the wrong thing. Just make sure that it says 100% lye, because that's how I used to make my soap. But anyway, links in the description for that as well. But here you have it. Just to reiterate, the color didn't really matter in this case, but if you do use a non-discoloring fragrance oil or none at all, you can always color it. This fragrance is no longer available and special order only. I do want to emphasize a little bit more about that lye. Like I said, you can get it at a hardware store like Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever you have nearby. But please, please, please make sure that you're not just getting Drano, because that will not work. It will not work. You can go to the website that I use to get my lye. If you don't plan on making a whole bunch of soap, you can get a 2-pound bottle from them. It's about $20, I believe. I will link that in the description below as well. But I did used to make, long time ago, I used to make soap with lye crystals from the hardware store. And it works fine. You just have to make sure that it's 100% lye. I can't emphasize that enough, because you're just going to end up with a hazard in your house, and that, you know, that is not good. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I moved a little bit fast, but I will be a little bit more descriptive in the description box below. But you can get all the soap making, or well, I guess all the oil ingredients from your supermarket. Walmart does sell that block of lard. If you want, save the lard from your bacon. I also have a rendering video where you can render the bacon fat yourself and get all the junk out of it and use it for soap. So anyway, but that's it for today. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.